Good morning. Hello, hello, Facebook land. Put some moisturizer on my lips. Good morning, you guys. Nicole Cooper here of NicoleSCooper.com. And I'm going to share a morning, what do y'all call these? Morning motivational messages or something, right? But if you're just joining us, or if you're watching this later on in the day and it has been shared, I want you to go ahead and just share it with some other people. So good morning, everybody. Today I want to talk to you guys about how to get anything you want out of life. All right. How to get anything you want out of life. Before I go into this, I had a good friend call me yesterday, and he said he actually recently sold into my life. He said, do you understand what these messages are doing for people? He said, extend the opportunity for people to sow into your life. So I want to give you guys an opportunity. If these messages help you guys, I told him, I said, I love doing them. I just got to be careful on time, right? But if these messages are really helping you and y'all want to sow into my life, I receive it. So go to paypal.me/Nicole S. Cooper, and you can sow into my life, all right? So guys, this morning I want to talk to you about how to get anything you want out of life. How to get absolutely anything you want out of life. From any, relationships to success to whatever, like whatever it is that your heart's desire, finding peace of mind, finding joy, the ability to become the person that you know you were born to be. Good morning. Is it Pearlia? Good morning. I want to tell you guys the secret to getting anything you want out of life. Many of us live our lives. I wrote a post the other day. I said, every single person is born with a vision. We all have a vision, whether it comes to you as a kid in the source of a dream, whether it comes to you, later in life where it's this endless story in your head that keeps growing and growing and growing. And you continue to see it expand, but it seems so fairy tale-ish that you keep telling yourself that it's not real. Every single one of us is born with a purpose, and we're born with a vision. The challenge is, my friends, we spend the rest of our lives trying to convince ourselves that we are worthy to live that vision. I'm going to repeat that. Every person is born with a vision and a dream, and we're equipped with everything we need to manifest it. The challenge is we spend the rest of our lives trying to convince ourselves that we are worthy of living out that vision. I want to share with you guys how to turn things around in your life. You guys may know I'm a big reader. So the book that I'm reading right now is called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. Okay? The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. And I love what she teaches because it's from a biblical perspective, and it's to help us to understand the power of abundance, right? And the power of prosperity. And it talks about the fact that poverty is a source of hell where we don't get a chance to understand God's abundant resources. Okay? Poverty is a source of hell where we don't understand or tap into God's resources and the abundance of God's resources. So many of us live our lives thinking that struggle is common, that we were born to be broke, that we're just born to live, to pay bills. We start developing these unrealistic myths, right? These limiting beliefs that are totally contrary to how we were born. And we end up allowing the struggle of thought, right? The struggle of believing that I'm worthy enough to live out my vision, and the struggle of believing that I'm good enough to have all the things that I desire in my life. We end up in the struggle, in a battlefield of the mind. I talk about this a lot because we allow our reality and what we see to dominate the vision. Okay? So all of us, we have this reality. And the reality is, life is a struggle for some people. Times do get tough at times. Life can get hard. You will face opposition. Things may not always go your way. That's the reality, right? But the vision shows you a perfect painted picture of what your life is called to be. I have one of my favorite quotes. It says, dreams are illustrations from the book your soul is writing about you. Dreams are illustrations from the book your soul is writing about you. So when you have these dreams, you have these ideas, you have these visions, it's your soul, it's your spirit giving you a visual representation of who you were called to be. So what's the secret to getting anything you want out of life? And where do you start? Guys, the secret to getting anything you want out of life is understanding, well, belief is a big thing, right? But understanding the power of intention. The power of intention. So what do I mean by the power of intention? If you have Netflix, I want you guys to go and watch. You're going to binge on it. I binged on it. It's a show called The Kindness Diaries. The Kindness Diaries. This guy had a vision and a desire to travel the world with no money. And his goal was to go from country to country, relying totally on the kindness of people. So his intention was, no matter where he was going to find somebody who would feed him, somebody who was going to fill his gas tank, and somebody who would give him somewhere to sleep. This man went around the country, y'all, and he didn't spend no money. He ended up running into some of the most amazing people in his life because he had the intention that created the expectation that put him in position to be in alignment with the people who would be able to support his intention. So where does intention come from? So if you have a vision, when that vision comes to you, there is a need to connect with that vision, right? And when I say connect with that vision, I mean be committed to that vision manifesting in your life. So God gives us this picture in our head, in our mind's eye, right? That's what a vision is. It's something that you can't see with the tangible eye, but it's something that you can see from the spiritual eye, all right? So whatever your vision is, I've had visions all my life. I'm a visionary, right? Some of us are visionaries. If you're a visionary, if your kids are visionaries, honor that, right? My daughter's a visionary. My kids are visionaries. I'm a visionary. So I have visions. What happens, guys, is I attach myself to that vision, with that vision being the expected outcome of my life, okay? So what that means is whatever I see in my mind, I have an expectation for that to be a manifestation of my reality. I expect to live it. I expect for it to come to pass. I expect every single piece of it to come true. I expect all the resources to show up to make it happen. I expect all the financial needs to be able to support it. I expect every single piece of that vision to become a part of my life, and I expect everything that I need to show up. So now I have the intention for that outcome. I intend to do everything that needs to happen to bring forth that outcome in that vision. So when I have this intention now, here's the deal, y'all. When I have intention, now I have an expectation. And when I have an expectation, I now also have a commitment to the result. I expect it, I'm committed, and when I am committed, guess what? I'm focused. I'm focused. So that means that if I see this vision, so let me give you an example. I have a vision of a company that I'm building. I have a vision for the outcome that it's going to be. I have a vision for the team and how it's going to manifest. I have a vision for the launch. I have a vision for the income it's going to generate. I see it all. And because I'm so connected to that vision of the outcome, it makes it very easy to know what fits in alignment with that vision and what doesn't fit in alignment with that vision, right? And so now that I see that vision, I'm focused. That everything I do, my expectation, my intention, my commitment, my investment of time, energy, and effort is all in alignment in that direction for this thing to come to pass. So if somebody tells me about an opportunity to do something to make a lot of money and it doesn't line up with that vision and that intention, it's easy to say no. If somebody comes to me and tries to tell me about another big bright idea that they think I would be good for, or something that they suggest that I do, if it's not in alignment with that vision and that focus and that intention, it's easy to say no. Here's another layer to that. If I am going through the process of building out that vision and times get tough and sacrifices have to be made, right? I'm so focused on that vision that whatever I have to release myself from and let go of so that I can be available to stay focused on the vision, I'm willing to do it. Whatever sacrifices that have to come along with the territory, I'm willing to do it. Because I see that vision so clear that I have an intention for it to manifest. And because I have an intention, I have the expectation. And because I have the expectation, I have the focus, right? What happens is when you have the intent, now everything starts to align. The resources show up. The people show up. The finances show up. The help and support shows up. Everything you need starts aligning in your life because you have an expectation for it to happen. And I was reading the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity yesterday. And one of the things that she said is a lot of us pray to God and ask God to answer our prayers to help us with stuff. But what we don't understand is the way that God answers prayers is through creative ideas and vision. And it says the only way that God can work for you is in his ability to work through you. So if you pray and say, God, like most of us pray about money, which is, I'll talk about that in a second. But most of us pray, please bail us out. Like our prayers are usually about bailouts. It's like what happened back in the recession. We want God to bail us out. And, so we get in these places where we're like, Lord, just save us. Save me from my situation. Help me. But what we don't understand is that God's way of helping you is through creative ideas and resources. So, for example, the other day, it was something that I needed. And I was like, okay, Lord, I need you to show me how to make something work. Probably, and I've shared this many a times, but probably within an hour, a creative idea was downloaded in me, and that creative idea required some effort, but I mapped out that creative idea, and it was the instant solution to what it was that I was praying for, but it required my effort. I had to do the work. I got the vision, I got the download, I got the process and the clarity of how to do it. I had to now pick up the phone and make it work, right? The thing about many of us is we pray and we ask God to help us, but we want to sit back and expect for everything to just be done for us. And we don't understand that in order for God to work for you, he has to work through you, which means that you have to partake in the process of producing the result, which means that you have to take the action, put forth the effort, and have the intention to get the result. Most of us pray with doubt. The Bible tells you that you have to have a stable mind. You can't have a wavering mind. You can't pray words out your mouth and say, God, please open up the doors of opportunity for a situation. And then when he opens up the door, you say, I'm not ready. I'm not really qualified, because you really don't want the opportunity. You really don't believe in your ability to be capable to fulfill the opportunity, right? Many of us don't understand the power of our beliefs and our words aligning with our request. You cannot submit a request with doubt, because your thoughts, your actions, your thoughts produce your actions. If, let's just say, for example, how many of us want to lose weight? How many of us want to lose weight, right? When it comes down to weight loss, it's very easy to say, I want to lose 20 pounds, right? It's very easy. For those of us who are getting of age, where losing weight gets a little complicated, there are times when you go put on your clothes and you don't look like you used to look. And so you have a conversation with yourself. And you could choose to have one of two conversations. You could choose to say, I'm getting so fat, it don't make no sense. It ain't even worth trying to lose weight. Or you can say, you know what? I remember when I looked in the mirror and I felt X, Y, and Z. I'm going to do what I need to do to lose this weight. And you have the expected intent to do what you got to do to get the result that you want. You can't be talking about I'm going to lose weight, but then you're telling yourself that it's too late. It's no need to even try to work out. You're not going to lose weight because with your mouth, you're saying I gave up before I got started. A lot of us, our lives are like that. Our finances are a reflection of that. Our relationships are a reflection of that. Our lifestyles are a reflection of that, right? Many of us have this saying that you can't trust people, or good people are hard to find, or if you're like me, I'm a business owner, so trying to find talent, you have people who say that there's no real talent out there, or people are lazy, or this or that, whatever words you speak out of your mouth, you're already confessing that you're going to reject the opportunity for someone of good quality, that is trustworthy, that is highly skilled, that is loyal, that wants to be committed. You're already rejecting the opportunity for them to be a part of your life because in your mind you're saying everybody sucks, nobody can help me, I can't trust anybody. I guess the only way to get stuff done right is to do it yourself. And guess what? That's how you're going to be for the rest of your life. You're going to struggle, and you're going to be frustrated, and you're not going to invite amazing people in your life. But I was telling my friend Larry last night, I said, it's so funny. I said, the minute that I said to myself, I no longer want to be all things to my business. I don't want to have to be an expert at every area of my marketing. I don't want to have to understand every new updated component to a sales funnel. I don't want to have to stay on top of the latest Facebook changes and Instagram changes. And that I want to align my business with strategic partners, people who are super duper brilliant at what they do. And we come together for a cohesive vision. The minute I said about my company that I don't want to hire people to be my employees. I don't want to hire people to be for me to be their bosses. I ain't trying to be nobody boss. The minute I started putting those formats of how I want to run my company, and I said that I want to bring on strong, talented people who can become advisors in my life because they're good at what they do. They understand the vision. Yeah, they're on my payroll, but they're brilliant, and I invite their brilliance into my life. I can focus on what I do well, and now I can allow all these amazing people to be who they are, to do what they do, give them the autonomy to run with their gifts, but it all is done under the umbrella of that vision, of the pictures that I painted. The minute I began to paint that picture, the most amazing people have shown up in my life. Highly qualified, brilliant, talented, super skilled, committed, loyal, trustworthy, and they ain't expensive, right? Some of them wanted to work with me so bad that they were like, I'll cut my prices in half just so I could be a part of your team. Why? Because I invited the opportunity for someone's brilliance to show up in my life. Most of us are not opening those doors. We're not extending those opportunities. When it comes to finances, I don't even want to go there. Y'all, conversations about money is scary. Times are always going to be tough. Everybody is struggling. The minute I make 2 steps forward, I got to take 10 steps back. I guess it's meant for me to be broke. My grandmama was broke. My daddy was broke. I'm going to be broke. Like, your conversations about money scare the crap out of me. I don't have them conversations about money. I talk about the fact that I'm a king of a kid, and I have money comes to me endlessly and effortlessly. Every resource that I need is all around me. I am filled with wealth and financial abundance. Money will never be an issue a day in my life. Whenever I need something, it appears, it arises. Money continues to be, I am a distribution center of wealth. It comes to me, it comes through me. It is able to find a home here. Money has a home. It knows how to function. It knows that it is a tool. It understands the resources that it has to become to be able to support the vision. Because listen, I got visions, I got goals, I got dreams, and I got an assignment and a mission. I don't have time to be sitting around worried about no money. You think I'm going to sit around and be stressing myself about money? You think I'm going to sit up here and be holding on like this to a little bit of money, whatever comes in, thinking that this is all I have? No, I release all these fears and these limited conversations about money, because money is a tool. It is an instrument. It comes to you as a resource to help you manifest your vision. And so I don't get caught up in money like other people get caught up in money. That's why it's easy for me to walk away from a multiple six-figure income, because I was not in alignment with my assignment. I wasn't there for the money. So I can let go of that multiple six figures in the network marketing industry, because I understand my vision and what it looks like over here. And I can be willing to start from scratch, because I'm like, Lord, you gave me the vision. When it's God's will, it's God's bill. You're going to create all the resources that I need to make it happen. And guess what? The minute I let that go over there and release myself from that over there, I came over here and everything I needed it just started showing up and manifesting. Because money, I don't live for money. My purpose is not because I'm here to have money. I don't live my life working for money. I don't run around here thinking that my entire existence for the amount of years that I'm on the face of the earth was to be able to acquire a piece of paper. Like, that ain't what I do. Right? Money is a resource. It is a tool. It is designed to be able to equip me with the things that I need to make the progress that I need to make. So it has to show up in my life. I have to be wealthy. There's too much on my purpose plate of assignment for me to be stressing and struggling about finances. So when I am positioned to give an offer, if I tell you guys sow into my life, go to paypal.me/Nicole S. Cooper. I expect some of y'all to sow into my life. I expect for y'all to see the fertile soil here and say, you know what, Nick, I see where you're going. I see what you're doing. I want to sow into your life. See, many of us, when we talk about money, we retreat, we repel, we get scared, because we have a very scarce mentality. We don't understand how money works. We don't understand what money is, and we don't understand who provides it as a resource. So you see people doing any and everything from murder to crime to this, to that, to the other, because they have a very warped understanding of what money is designed to do. Our politicians, the biggest crooks in the world to me, right? They are so greedy. They're so focused on hoarding and putting themselves in position to acquire money that they don't understand that no matter how much you can build a sense of an empire of financial wealth, if you don't put yourself in position to understand your purpose of impact to the people, you're creating your own destruction. Like, guys, you can have a lot of money and your life can be utter hell. It's not about acquiring or hoarding money. It is about understanding that money is a resource and a tool, and it has to show up to equip you to give you what you need if you understand the vision. The vision is not money, right? The vision is not money. Most of us pick and choose and select our paths in life for the money. I used to do it, right? I picked my profession. I picked my major in college because I wanted to know what's the highest paying position, right? I would pick job opportunities because, of course, we do want to be rewarded financially. But here's what most of us don't understand. When you have a vision, right, and you honor that vision, creative ideas and insight starts coming to you, that as you start implementing those things in your life, it creates the resources that you need financially to help you move forward in that vision. So, for example, I had an idea come up yesterday, right? It was a good idea. It's a real good idea. And I started building on that idea. And when I built on the idea, I called a couple of friends. I got some insight. I got some ideas. I was like, what do you think about doing this? So we kind of built out the idea, and it started growing and growing and growing and growing, right? So when I sat down to map it out, I started realizing, like, this is a great idea, but it's a lot of work. It's a huge responsibility, and it's going to be a big distraction to my vision. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what will happen if I focus on that vision, on my company, on my business. I know exactly where I'm going. And although this idea, it was over here, it sounded really good. It was financially rewarding, and it would have been fun. It was a distraction because this is the vision. This was the idea. And it would have pulled me in two different directions, and it would have ate up a bunch of my time, and it would have taken away resources from this. But I understand if I focus on this, y'all, if I focus on this, the bare minimum of earnings is 7 figures a year. The bare minimum. This would have been $20, $30, $40,000. Am I going to chase this for that right now money, or am I going to stay in alignment with this vision right here where I already got a creative idea that can reproduce that money, but it'll keep me in the path to the vision being manifested? No, I'm going to stay in the vision. I said, this is a distraction. Let me take that off the list. I'm not going to do it. It would have been a great idea. A lot of people would have loved it. It would have been fun. It could have made some money, but it was a distraction. We got to understand how to be committed to the vision. When you're committed to the vision, all the other things come up that can be financial resources. You will understand that your vision will feed you what you need to keep you moving forward to produce what you need to produce. Okay? And so we have to understand that. So the overall secret, guys, the overall secret to getting anything you want out of life is understanding your vision and living your life in pure expectation for it to manifest in your life. And a lot of us, unfortunately, I hear Les Brown, he always says, the greatest source of potential on the face of the earth is in the cemetery. It's where so many people took their ideas, their visions, their plans to the grave. And the reason why is because they got so caught up in just surviving. And they spent so many of their years trying to convince people that they were worthy of the vision that they had, that they died with the vision. They died with the vision. And so for many of you, you know, we're living this life kind of haphazardly. We're hoping, we're wishing, we're praying, we're saying someday it's going to happen. And we don't understand we have complete control with what's happening in between our ears. We don't understand that we have the ability to truly create what we want with our thoughts, with our intention, and with our expectation of our visions to manifest. Is it work? Absolutely. It's work. But let me tell you something about vision. The minute you marry yourself to your vision, the minute you make it where it's the absolute truth in your life, like you stop living in your reality and you start living in your imagination. And so when you live in your imagination, you begin to act as if that thing that you desire is already manifested in your life. And you might come across as a little crazy, but when you're acting as if, you have no other choice but to experience the result. So back to the Kindness Diaries. Some of you guys may not understand this. Some of you may need to watch this over a couple of times to get it. But I will tell you guys, I'm pretty different. I don't live in my reality. I live in my imagination. So the things that I envision in my vision, I expect them to come to pass, which means that I don't entertain low-level conversations about hardships, which means that I don't allow people's persuasive and convincing and very compelling ideas or desire of persuasion to lead me in their direction. I don't permit that. I don't allow myself to be influenced by the opinions of people. I don't allow myself to follow the crowds. I'm okay with sacrifice. I'm not interested in impressing people. I am committed to releasing whatever I have to release to be able to elevate in that vision. And I'm okay with what comes along with the territory. We sold everything we own. We walked away from a multiple six-figure income. We're starting from scratch. We're building a business. I cut back on how much I pay myself. I'm limiting everything that I do because I'm investing in a vision. I wear the same recycled clothes over and over again because I'm so focused, and I can care less what that looks like, how it makes people feel, what people say about me. Yeah, I went from making multiple seven figures in the past couple of years building other people's businesses, but now I'm finally investing in my own vision. And yeah, I had to start from scratch. And guess what? I love every cotton picking moment of it. I love the journey. I have the joy. I love the process. I see it so clearly. I know exactly where I'm going. The people that I know who's supposed to be a part of my vision are showing up in my life. Things are strategically lining up. The peace that I have in my mind and my heart, the ability to operate from my greatest gift in my genius zone. Whenever I come across anybody now, I have the full freedom and reign to be who I was called to be. I don't have to restrain myself to fit into a certain environment or hold back because, I got to make people feel good about something over here. Look, I can be 1,000 and 10% who I was called to be, because I'm in my lane, in my genius zone, in my assignment, in my vision, operating from a place of who I'm called to be, what I'm called to do, where I'm called to go, and how I'm called to create it. And it is the greatest feeling in the world. So when it comes down to impressing people and, image and all these other superficial things and material things that we try to convince ourselves that are the priority, they have no priority in my life. Because when I need to step out and be decked out, and if I need to put on some labels for an event, you best believe I'm gonna be the baddest chick in the room, right? When it's time for us to embark into that next level in our life and get the dream home and have all these things, you best believe it ain't gonna be nothing but a thing for me to pick what I want. It's kind of like when I was in network marketing and they talked about the money you can make, where they say you get to look at the menu from left to right instead of right to left, where you're not looking at the price anymore. You just pick what you want to eat. Oh, I'm gonna pick any house I want without worrying about a price tag. I'm gonna pick any piece of clothes that I want without worrying about a price tag. Listen, money will never be an issue a day in my life. But in this season, I'm not making decisions around money for those things. I'm making decisions around the vision that God has given me, and I have full intention and expectation for that thing to manifest in my life, which means that I expect everything I need to show up. Everything. I have an expectation. So no matter what things look like, feel like, no matter how much panic try to set in, I'm so convinced and compelled in my mind that it's already real in my life, in real life, that I act as if I am who I am called to be. I'm operating in the role that I'm called to operating in. I already have the office building, the space. My corner office is already established. We already got the studio set up. The clients are sitting there writing big $50,000, $100,000 checks. We have $1 million launches. The team is happy. Our teams are taking vacations and retreats, all expenses paid for the entire staff. Everybody who works with us are loyal. They love what they do. Money is coming to us endlessly and effortlessly. We have 6-figure days frequently. Our list has grown to the millions because everybody wants to be a part of what we do as a company. When we get out here and we do the things that we got lined up that I can't talk about right now, it goes viral. Everybody's talking about it. Because see, when I'm operating in my vision, when I operate according to what God has called me to operate in, see, what happens is there's such an anointing on your life for what you do that people can't help but want to be a part of what it is that you do. You see, when you operate according to God's assignment and not according to man's request, you start understanding that everything you need supernaturally begins to come through you. So your performance is operated in excellence. Your delivery is in excellence. And when people work with you, it's in excellence. The experience that is created, the mood, the atmosphere, everything is supernatural. It cannot be explained. It cannot be stolen. People can try to steal your business model. They can try to come and duplicate what you do. They can try to rob your stuff. You're not worried about none of that. Because when you're operating in your assignment, when you are in alignment with your assignment, you're constantly getting spiritual downloads that is giving you such a supernatural way of performing that people know it's like, oh my God, like, I don't know what's going on up in here, but I don't want to leave this place because I love working and being around what it is that you have going on. Like, that's the power of operating in your vision. And so we have to learn to understand, guys, that we live our lives according to the assignment, to the vision, and not according to the pressure of the reality. Most of us are making these haphazard decisions, and it's all about survival. God did not send you here to survive. He sent you here to thrive. So if your life seems like one big tangled mess, it's because you are out of alignment with your assignment. I'm not saying everybody's going to be wealthy when you're in your assignment. If you are called to be a missionary, if you are called to be a teacher, if you are called to do certain things, it may not mean that you're a millionaire. But let me tell you something about the ability to have abundance in whatever you have. You see, the Bible talks to us that you will be like rivers of living water, right? Who will never, you will always blossom. You will think about a tree that is always experiencing, is on the cusp of a river, and is always being doused with moisture and water in the sunlight. It's always prospering. It's always blossoming. It's always growing, right? You will be like rivers of living water. You will have exceedingly abundantly everything you ask and think. So even if your paycheck is $1,000 every 2 weeks. But you know you're in assignment to be a teacher. You'll be surprised, like the five fish and 5 loaves of bread or whatever the story was. You will never run out. Everything you need will always be in abundance to you. You will find that people will sow into your life. We don't understand. God can give us abundance in what we already have. But we get so caught up in like the reality of, I can't tell y'all, listen, ever since we've moved from Texas to Florida, I have felt more wealthier and abundant than I ever have, and we have the least amount of stuff. And the reason why I feel so abundant is because I'm rich in my spirit, I'm rich in my thoughts, I'm rich in my actions, I'm rich in my conversations, my connections have been extremely rich. I mean, everything that is happening in my life is with purpose. Everything. I cannot tell you how many supernatural occurrences are happening with the people that I'm meeting. Before we came here, I prayed. I said, Lord, we had a great church in Texas that we were leaving. I did not want to leave our church. I was like, Lord, we're moving to Fort Myers. Everybody talks about Fort Myers as being one big ghetto hood with a lot of crime and a lot of this, that, and the other. And I said, I don't want to be subjected to that environment. Please place me, grant me favor amongst the influencers in that city. Okay? Grant me favor to come across the right people who are going to connect me with other people who are going to introduce me. Like, people are going to they're going to meet me and they're going to be talking about me to other people, and they're going to start introducing me to all the right people. This was my prayer before we came to Fort Myers. Okay? We get here to Fort Myers. I got to get my son in school, and we would go down the street when we would go into the city, and I kept seeing this building, and it had a preschool there. And so I kept saying, oh, I need to go look into that school for Carson, right? Although I kept passing by this preschool, I kept hearing this name, right? I kept hearing the name, Skyline, 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 right? Kept hearing the name. Well, every time I would pass by the school, I assumed that was the same place. Long story short, I go into the yellow pages. I call the school. I think I'm talking to one school. I'm actually talking to another school. We make an appointment for me to go to that school. It's not the same place because I pulled up at the building. I'm like, this is not what I've been seeing. I get in there. Immediately, I hit it off with the director. All of us, my husband, my mother-in-law, me, we walked in there. This was the first school we visited, and we had the greatest feeling in the world. We said, this is it. This is the one. She was just a spirit of joy, and she's escorting us, and she stops, and she looks at me and my husband. She said, there's something about you two. She was like, are you guys in ministry? Like, I'm picking up something from your spirit. Like, it was like kind of crazy. She was like, there's something about you guys. So me and him just looked at each other, and we were like, I don't know. Long story short, we go to that church. My son goes to the school. We go to the church. It's a small little church. She introduces me to her husband. They're both in business. They've been in network marketing. We start talking about a lot of business stuff. He wants to introduce me to his coach. Coach comes to speak at the church. By the time I meet the coach is like, I've heard so much about you. I've been wanting to meet you. End up talking to the coach. The coach asked me to coach him. That's another story. This coach knows a guy who knows Michael Hyatt, who knows Dave Ramsey. He wants to introduce me to all these people. He keeps telling me about all these big names. The guy who's Oprah's life coach, he's good. Tim Story. He's like, I'm good friends with Tim Story. I want to introduce you to Tim Story. Tim Story is Oprah's life coach. He starts telling me how he wants me to meet him. I mean, I'm in this small town, y'all, in a small church. And all these miracles are happening. Now he got this. Me and him are good friends now. That's Duke Matlock. I've told y'all about the book, Get Up and Grow, right? That's one occurrence. Then a couple weeks ago, we had another guest speaker. Same thing happens. The pastor, the woman who runs the church at my son's school as a director, is the co-pastor at the church. She sits down with this woman who wrote this book. The woman came from Texas. She speaks. When we're done, she comes right on up to me. I've heard a lot about you. I've been wanting to meet you. Let's connect. We end up talking for about 15, 20 minutes. We exchanged numbers. By the time we were done with our conversation, she invited me to come stay with her in Dallas. She wants to introduce me to a whole new group of people who are online influencers who have mega impact. And she's like, come stay with me for a weekend. She's in Dallas. Amazing people. Let me tell y'all, I am in the wealthiest place that I've ever been in my life because I'm operating in the fullness of assignment of where God has called me to be, and every single resource that I need continues to show up at my door. I got an office space down here at a co-working spot. I made good friends with the owner. He and I would be working late, so we would be talking about all these different things. And I bring up that I need to find a studio to shoot at. He brings up that there's a high school that has this amazing program. And then she starts telling me about the high school. Come to find out, it's probably known as the worst location in the city of Fort Myers. But they have the best program for engineering, for STEM, basically for science, technology, engineering. And he said, I want to introduce you to some people, introduces me to the lady that runs it. We end up going to this board meeting. Mind you, we're the only African Americans in the room other than the principal, right? They start introducing me to all these high-level people. Then she invites me to come back to do a tour. Her and I sit down for probably an hour and a half. She starts taking me to meet all these teachers. Next thing you know, they want me to come speak. Next thing you know, they want to introduce me to somebody else. Next thing you know, all these introductions. So now I'm a volunteer at the school. They're going to bring all these kids. They want to put a big speaking event on for me to come and teach these kids about internet marketing and how to take the skills that they're learning in the school to start becoming. I can't tell you how many doors are flying open. And listen, it's not just about the money. Some of these stuff are not attached to the money, but it's attached to the opportunity. It's attached to the opportunity. I cannot explain to you the power that happens when you are in alignment with your assignment and you trust God on every angle. And you trust God to the point that you say, I'm not going to allow myself to be stressed by money. I am willing to give up whatever I need to give up so that I can have the freedom to focus. Some of y'all have too much on your plate. You need the freedom to focus. What I mean by that is downsize your life, y'all. Downsize your life. Get rid of some of them bills. Get rid of some of that overhead. Change some things for a season. The reason why your brain is so preoccupied is because you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, you have too much going on, you're in too many different directions, and you're always working for more and more money because you're spending too much. Your overhead is too high. You have your car note is too high, your mortgage or rent or whatever. You need to let some of that stuff go. You probably got a big 3,000 square foot house like we did, and you only use half of it, downsized to 1,500 square feet. You probably paying $1,500 a month in a mortgage or a rent when you can probably downsize to $1,000, a downsize to $800. Listen, it may be only for a season, y'all. It may be only for a season. Yes, people might have something to say. Yes, we love inviting people over to see all of our wonderful Z Gallery furnishings and our home good decor. Yes, I get it. But listen, it's for a season of sacrifice so you can operate in a level that God has called you to operate in because you need the freedom to focus, y'all. God cannot get into your head when it's so occupied with fear. You're fearful about your bills. You're fearful about income. You're fearful about your job because you got so many bills. You're fearful about your relationships because you're allowing people access to your life that you know that don't belong there. You're fearful about your kids because you're so filled, your day is so overwhelmed and overscheduled that you can't even have a relationship with your kids. You're not talking to them. You don't know what's going on. You are not able to connect with them. You don't even know who their friends are. So you're filled with fear because you have too much preoccupying your mind, too much preoccupying your life. And then you get on these social media sites and you go look at the people who are showing you their red bottoms, and you look at the people who showing you their Celine purses and they Yves Saint Laurent, and they, you know, everything about them is beat, and you're saying to yourself that you need to hurry up and get to that level, and so you're putting yourself in a biggest detriment, when in actuality you need to stop chasing those things, guys, and start connecting with people who operate in wisdom, people who can give you wisdom. Wisdom allows you to understand and see beyond the external. If you were able to begin to see and see things from a level of wisdom and not from a level of desire or from a level of superficial image, you will begin to hear things that most people can't hear. Like me, when I see some people out here who flossing, I see emptiness, insecurity. I see a big void in their lives and a desire to get attention. Like, and I'm not saying everybody's like that, but when you see people for who they are internally, you start seeing things from a spiritual eye and not from an external eye. I'm not moved by things. Like, you can't impress me. I've been around some of the most wealthiest people in my life. I'm not moved by your big house. I'm not moved by all them cars in your drive. I don't care about that stuff, because if your soul and your spirit ain't right, I don't even want to be around you. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care who you got access to. I don't care what you drive. I don't care where you live. What I care about is the condition of your spirit and your soul, that when me and you sit down, are we in alignment? Is there a feeding to my spirit from you where iron sharpens iron? The Bible says iron sharpens iron, so does a man sharpen the countenance of his friend. I already told you about toxic people. Did that video a week ago, right? Or 2 weeks ago, whatever. I don't need toxic people in my life who got rich things, rich looking things. I don't need that. I love being around the school teacher who's pouring into all these kids over here at this high school, helping them get full rides to MIT and Harvard. And I have an opportunity to come in and help show this kid how they can take the skills they have right now, use the internet to freelance, and make an extra $2,000 a month to help their family. I love that kind of stuff. I love that. So it's so different. I mean, y'all know I could be here forever and ever and ever. But I will say this. If you want to sow into my life, because I was telling Larry, I was like, Larry, I'll be giving my all on these calls, but it take up time. And I need to get focused on my business, but I know that this is my ministry. And I'm going to open myself up on the ministry side for y'all to sow into my life. If you want to sow into my life, if these messages help you, go to paypal.me /Nicole S. Cooper. Why am I doing that? Some of y'all might be like, no, she didn't. Because I received every tool and resource that God wants to sow into my life. Some of you are saying this is helping me more than anything else, and you want to sow. This might be my book right now, right? I know I need to write a book. This might be my book right now. And if you want to sow into me, I'm going to receive it because I want to continue to invest in you to help empower you to go where you want to go. And I'm expecting God to bless me on every corner, honey. So paypal.me /Nicole S. Cooper. I don't care if it's $5, $20. If you want to sow into my life, I would definitely receive it because I want to continue to sow into yours. So if you want to get into a position, guys, where you experience a shift in your life, you have to understand your vision. The Bible tells us that people without a vision perish. My people suffer due to a lack of vision, right? You will suffer. It says you will suffer, right? Struggle, frustration, everything else due to a lack of vision. It's time to tap back into that vision and put yourself in a position to be in alignment with your assignment and let God show you the ever abundant resources that are all around you to be able to change your life. So I thank you so much. Thank you, James. Yes, y'all, listen, I receive all seeds. PayPal.me /Nicole S. Cooper. I am in the season of receiving. Some of y'all be like, nah, that's okay. No, I tell everybody who sow a seed into my life, I will receive that seed because you're sowing into good soil for me to truly be able to be available to sow back into you. So Michelle said, Nicole, as a clinical therapist, these people you mentioned are my clients. Unfortunately, they don't know they have a mental diagnosis, personality disorder called narcissistic. You know what? It's so many people with so many challenges, but the solution to that is getting connected into the spirit of where God has called you to be, like getting connected to what God has called you to do. And so anyway, guys, I got to go. I got a full day. And if you're in Indianapolis, I'll be in Indianapolis this weekend. Let me know if anybody is in Indianapolis. And I got my Beast Mode activated shirt on from Jermaine Steele. But if you're in Indianapolis, let me know. I'll be up there this weekend for an event. And so hopefully this has helped y'all. Go ahead and share this with some folks. Share it below if this has helped you. And that's it, y'all. Morning motivations with Nick, I guess. Whatever it's called. All right. Thank you, guys. See you later. And thank you, James, for posting that. I appreciate it. Bye, y'all.